Do you struggle to handle material imbalance as well? If so, let's get into how to handle them better. This game was played between Nakamura against Vacher Legrave, featuring a Tromposki opening. In a game, MVL goes for the main line, but with a bit of a twist. Rather than taking toward the center, he recaptures away from the center. Now, what might be the problem with this approach? Well, there's nothing terribly wrong with it, but we see in the game that Black is now saddled with an isolated pawn on d5. Now, he does have the bishop pair in return, so it's actually not that big of a deal here. But after queen d2, castles and a3, at this point there is a move that is screaming out to be played here from Black's point of view. And if you're wondering what that move is, well, you can always put it down in the comments below to see if you got it right. But the answer here is that the move of d4 is very strong. And the point of d4 is that Black just wants to rip things open for the bishops. Like take, and if White keeps taking, Black's piece is just getting the more and more active squares with each capture, right? And the result is that the bishop's just raking the board. You know, if you castle long to try to get out of the center, well, then the f2 pawn drops. So this is bad news for White. You know, you might think that, oh, what if knight a4 to get out of it? But then Black can just take, and just take with check. You know, take with check, take with check, and White just doesn't get the time to take the bishop, right? So this is how MVL could have got a much better position against Nakamura's overly ambitious opening. The problem after queen a5 is that now White can play rook b1, and something asks, like, how are you going to get out of the b4 fork? To which maybe Black should just move the bishop to safety, but instead he says, you know what, I'm going to ignore the threat. I'm going to let you play b4. I'm going to sack the knight, and then I'm going to say I've got a little bit of a pin going here. But the problem is that White can now play the move rook takes b4. If you play rook b3, d4 is going to be a little bit embarrassing for you when the dust finally settles after all of the captures. But rook b4 avoids those problems, and we can see here after knight to d1, offering a trade at queens to try and stabilize, that, you know, suddenly White is actually the one who is much better here. And I mean, normally like a rook and 2 pawns is worth a little bit more than the knight, because the knight's only worth like 3.45, and, you know, together, so it's 6.9 versus 7, and 7 normally beats 6.9, right? But it's only a difference of 1/10 of a pawn. And what we can see here is that White's knights are very stable, right? Well, certainly now d4 is on an outpost. You can also go bishop b5 if you want to stop the a-pawn queening, but okay, Nakamura says, I don't care, let's let the pawn run anyway. Which, okay, it's blitz, these crazy things happen, and, you know, the pawn shouldn't have got this far, because now it's actually Black, who is doing very well if he just, like, plays normal moves, like just build up the position and, you know, leave the pawn as like a bone in his throat. If you're enjoying this video, do make sure to leave a like and also to consider subscribing. And if you're already subscribed, you can always tap that notification bell and set to all so you get all of my training videos, not just some of them. After b5, bishop a2. Again, Black should just be patient. Like, if you don't know what to do, sometimes just slowly improving your position is better than, you know, kind of lashing out as MVL did here. Because the problem is after queen c1, like, you know, what is your threat in a way? I mean, White can even just play a move like bishop b3 and ask, well, okay, you're not threatening to trade queens because I just take back. You're not threatening to queen the pawn because my bishop's covering it for now, so what's your idea, you know? But in the game, White played b5, which, similar idea, but maybe not quite as effective. But okay, it's bullet, or it's blitz, rook c5, queen b4, rook b8, probably not the play here, because now White has a winning move. And, you know, if you give Nakamura a trick, you know he's going to see it. He's like just the sharpest chess player in the world. And knight b3 is the retreat that MVL had missed. Maybe he thought he could get away with moving the rook, but the problem is, you go here, I get a little intermezzo with queen b5, and when the dust settles, White is the one who is up a rook. Well, up 2 knights, actually. Or if you play rook c4 as in the game, queen d6, hitting here. How do you get out of it? The problem is you can't. Queen c2, take pawn, a rook with check. Queen c8, queen a7, pawn maybe looks scary, but knight d4, everything is well guarded here. We're going to castle our king to safety, and at the end of the day, White is just up a piece. The game ended queen d2, just make sure you don't fall for a back rank mate here. Rook f1, a2, now White gets his pawn rolling, h5, b7, rook c1, take queens, and after the final move of queen b5, ensuring that we're not going to get mated, because the queen can cover here, or a1 we just take and just get rid of their queen. Black's down too much wood, and therefore Vacher-Lagrave resigned. Let me know about this video, how you enjoyed it, if there's something you'd like me to cover in the future. Do pay attention to the question you guys have. And yeah, I'll see you in the next training. Take care.